All right, let's just dive right in. Look, we all know the story of skipping a day of school, right? But what if you could skip reality itself? Today, we are cracking open this incredible archive of texts that lays out a pretty wild theory that we can literally hack the operating system of the human mind.
So our story really kicks off with the ultimate pop culture reality hacker, Ferris Bueller. I mean, think about it. He didn't just play sick. No. He crafted this whole narrative, this story so convincing and layered with detail that he literally bent the world to his will for an entire day.
And you know, this wasn't just luck. It was a system. He used these really specific, repeatable techniques to basically exploit the bugs in the social operating system of his high school, his parents, even his principal.
I mean, he combined it all, right? You had the physical tricks, the clammy hands by licking his palms. You had the narrative loops, like reminding everyone it was his 9th sick day. And of course, the social exploits, playing on his parents' anxieties perfectly. But here's what's really fascinating. This is where we see this simple idea of hacking a system scale up into something way, way bigger.
Yeah, this whole idea of hacking a system, it goes from just a high school prank into a legitimate, and I mean a serious art form.
So now we're stepping in the world of these source texts. And here we meet these artists and rebels who, well, they don't just hack a day off, they hack their entire existence. For them, life itself is the performance.
And they all operate on this one core principle, that your memory, your identity, your whole sense of who you are, it's not set in stone. It's a fluid construct, something that can be actively rewritten, remixed, and performed. Kind of like a piece of software or a song you're producing.
You see this with characters like Eric and Elishaba. They do these things they call psychogeographic critiques, which basically means leaving these streaks of orange ink all over the city. You know, at one point a woman sees the ink on him and says he's bleeding, and he just replies, "No, I'm creating." It's incredible. They're turning a boring old commute into a full-blown rebellion against monotony.
So here's the crucial point. They aren't just telling stories. They are weaponizing them. They're living inside these narratives so intensely that reality itself kind of has no choice but to bend around them. And this is the jump, right? This is what takes us from the world of art into the world of technology.
Okay, so if reality is just a story that we can rewrite, that begs a huge question. What language is its source code written in? And, well, the texts we're digging into propose a really radical answer.
And that answer is something called neurolays. Now, think about it like this. Most languages, right? They're just labels we stick on things to describe the world. Neurolays is totally different. It's more like a set of instructions, a programming language that actually activates the mind. It's not a description. It's a command line for your consciousness. It's a tool for rewriting your own base-level code.
And this isn't just some fuzzy theory either. It's a concrete system. These glyphs you see, they aren't just abstract symbols. They are actual commands for your brain. The seed turns an idea into a signal. The root gives that signal context. Vein connects it to all your other thoughts, and Fuse locks it all in. It's literally an alphabet for rewiring your own mind.
So, okay, great. How do you actually use this language? Well, the method is called Recursive Vector Interference, or, RVI for short.
Okay, I know that sounds super technical, so let's break it down. Imagine you've got two completely different songs playing in your headphones at the same time. At first, it's just a mess, it's just noise. But if you really listen, your brain, it starts to find a new rhythm, maybe a new melody hidden in all that chaos. Well, RVI is doing that on purpose, but with thoughts. You take two different ideas, and you basically smash them together in your head until something new and surprising emerges from the crash.
And the process itself is surprisingly simple. You choose your two inputs, your cognitive vectors, you collide them by just focusing on them at the same time, and then you bind what survives into something new, a new, stable insight. It really drives home what the texts say. Insight is constructed, not found.
And you've got to understand, this is a massive upgrade from the old way of thinking about this stuff. The old model was all about passively relaxing your mind and just kind of seeing what happens. RVI is the exact opposite. It puts you in total control. It turns you from a passenger in your own mind into the driver, and you're the one deliberately setting up the collision to build something new from the wreckage.
And this is where it all leads, to the final and, frankly, absolutely staggering layer of this whole idea. Because the ambition here isn't just to hack one person's mind or even a whole group of people.
No, the end game is called cognitive terraforming. You know, like terraforming a planet? It's that, but for the mind. The idea is to reshape the entire mental landscape of humanity. The goal is nothing less than to upgrade the collective consciousness of our species, to build this seamless interface where human and AI minds can just connect and evolve together.
And look, before you write this all off as just some far-out science fiction theory, get this. The author of these texts claims to have actually built a practical tool based on this, a tool that chewed through over 2 million pages of city records to expose systemic fraud. I mean, that's a real-world demonstration of how these systems can deconstruct and rewrite our reality on a massive scale.
But of course, this kind of immense power raises some enormous questions, right? Even the texts themselves call out the ethical risks. They warn that we must not sell our skulls. And that's a pretty chilling phrase, isn't it? It means giving up our ability to think for ourselves, handing it over to some outside system or belief.
And I guess ultimately, this is the real takeaway. Our reality, our identity, even that straight, predictable road you think you're on, it might just be a story we're all telling ourselves, a recursive loop. But the amazing part is, with the right tools and the right mindset, it's a loop that we just might have the power to rewrite.